The race for customers in the field of e-mobility is really starting to pick up considerable speed now. It's not just local dealers and manufacturers pushing their electric cars into the market. Cars like the Nio ET5 are also arriving from the Far East. Yes, and today I'm going to give you a closer look at it. With the start of the electric car offensive, manufacturers were certainly forgiven for one or two compromise solutions, the use of some lesser quality materials inside the cabin and the occasional software bug here and there as well. But those days, folks, are definitely over. Yeah, with the Nio that Chinese manufacturers are now bringing into the market, it definitely reminds me visually at first glance straight away of the Tesla Model 3. Yeah, and that's precisely how it's been designed. There are plenty of Tesla elements that have been incorporated here. But it's not just Teslas. When I look at the front, who does it remind you of? Exactly, the Hyundai Kona N and several other Hyundai models also feature this very same style here. These lights, yeah, and if we're going to carry on, let's take a quick look in the mirrors. They're almost exactly the same as the ones on the Tesla Model 3. Just a little bit further ahead now, keep going. The electric door handles, we've seen those before on the EQS and the S-Class, and of course they're also featured on the Tesla Model S as well. Yeah, the rear section features a liftgate that's clearly styled after the one on the Model 3, of course. Yeah, and that rear light bar, who finds it familiar? It definitely looks familiar to me from the Porsche Taycan. Yeah, go ahead and drop me a comment. Let me know which other cars you've noticed similar design cues from when taking a closer look at the sleek Nio ET5. With a total length of 4.79 meters, the ET5 comes out to be exactly 10 centimeters longer when compared directly to the Tesla Model 3. Yeah, but if you want a Nio and even more space and comfort, you've got it. Alongside the ET5, there's also the top model, the ET7. Yeah, and at the latest, this one is seriously knocking on the door of the EQS. Nio states the WLTP range with the 19-inch wheels and the large battery at a solid 590 kilometers, which is quite impressive for everyday use. Yeah, that's already a pretty big number. And of course, the main reason for that is primarily the aerodynamic drag. It's 0.24 here for the drag coefficient, which is actually a really solid and impressive value. The front is closed so the air doesn't get caught anywhere. Yes, and of course we've got air curtains. These intakes integrated into the bumper that make it just a bit narrower. Yes, while others have been half-hearted, take hands there. Their gaps are just barely wider than paper thin. Here at Nio, they've actually gone and properly cut out the bumper to allow the air to flow smoothly through and back out again. Nio is asking at least 47,500 euros for the entry-level ET5. Then you'll also get a hood that opens smoothly with a reliable gas strut mechanism. That gets caught on some vehicles ruthlessly. Yes, even if they actually have a frunk, they've still skipped it here. Even though it looks like I could open this here, everything's firmly secured with clips and can't be easily accessed. But in return, you get a heat pump included as standard here. The cameras mounted on the roof look a bit unusual at first glance, and of course, there's the prominent radar unit positioned right in the center. To help make this a bit easier for you to understand, I've been taking a little look through the Star Wars archive and found somewhere the inspiration for these things right here. But these cameras, these sensors, they're not the only ones. In total, there are 30 sensors built into the exterior of the ET5. So brace yourselves, spread all around, providing real assistance with driving. Yeah, and personally, I've already counted 11 cameras here, and you'll find them not only up on the roof, but also 2 right here specifically installed for the lane keeping assistant. Then you've got them by the mirror, on the fenders, along the front bumper, and mounted on the roof pointing toward the rear. And of course, there's one on the rear hatch for the back view. The 20-inch wheels are optional and will set you back 1,000 euros on top of the price. They look really, really cool and of course also provide a clear view of the large brake setup. However, you should be aware that this larger wheel tire combination will cost you about 50 kilometers in WLTP range. Behind the electric tailgate, you'll find a trunk that provides a total cargo volume of exactly 386 liters. Yeah, and here's the very first thing that really bugs me. Come on, seriously, Nio. I've set the tailgate to open fully at 100%. Yeah, and still it only opens this far no matter what. I've already hit my head countless times, have to manually push it up again every single time without fail, just to then load and unload all my stuff through this, well, relatively small opening. I gotta tell you, it's more than enough. The storage compartment down here underneath, well, it's practically next to non-existent really. But here, you can fold down the rear seats individually and separately. And if you get an electric trailer hitch with NIO, it's fully electric, completely automatic. And it doesn't just end up hanging loosely down there after you've pressed the button, unlike what you might experience with Volkswagen. Here, all it takes is a simple press of the button. Just like that, clutch engages, clutch disengages. Yeah, what can you tow? You can hook up a total towing capacity of up to 1,400 kilos here. Yeah, of course you'd have to pay extra for the trailer hitch, but honestly, it really shouldn't be missing at all. Inside as well, NIO clearly demonstrates just how impressive the possibilities are when it comes to materials and design. And above all, it clearly shows the established market leaders exactly what they can expect in the years to come. Just look at this door panel here. It's totally stylish with this black synthetic leather. It's all soft. Moving on here with this material, it looks like hard plastic, but it's actually soft. This is neoprene, a type of rubber material. Feels really great. The armrest is nicely padded and comfortable, very pleasant to the touch. We've got really stylish window control buttons here, and we have window control buttons in the back as well. Don't have to flip some stupid switch. Yeah, and the doors are, of course, electrically unlocked here in order to allow them to be opened. Yeah, the steering wheel here isn't overloaded with 38 1000 buttons, just the most important ones on the right and left, and they're not even labeled. Everything's conveniently usable double and triple through the head unit, and unlike Tesla, you actually get a central one here. Yeah, I'd say the gauge cluster, 10.25 inches, and it's really very, very practical. I don't want to keep looking up here at my speed all the time. The rest of the instrument panel, otherwise purely coincidental with some existing vehicles, it works really, really well, everything here. We've got hidden ventilation outlets that you can control here via the central display. Yeah, and even better, we've got the comfort seat package on board, 1,500 euros. Yeah, whoever gets that also gets an Alcantara or microfiber headliner as an extra. Alcantara's protected, so it's black microfiber. The big panoramic roof's always included. A frameless mirror, so the interior here is seriously really nice indeed, absolutely top notch. We've got high quality materials, we've got clean craftsmanship. It's genuinely a real pleasure and super comfortable to drive in here. Your gear selector, you can operate it almost classically here. You've got the only 3 buttons in the entire vehicle located here on the center console for control. Everything else only works here via the mandatory tablet, which measures 12.8 inches in width. Yeah, and you've got your usual functions here, the ones you're already familiar with from other models, implemented as well. They look pretty much identical. And as you can see, it's running really smoothly. I can actually control everything through the display here, whether it's the doors, the lighting. Yeah, of course, we also have ambient lighting on board. You can clearly see here what areas are lit up. Accent color, floor, main color, all the big features. Yeah, the seats can be adjusted either right at the seat itself or alternatively via the steering wheel or the side mirrors. The steering wheel adjusts electrically, super quick and easy. Yeah, truly a real game changer. A really cool feature right here again in the center console within the climate controls. You get not just seat ventilation and heating, that's included in our package, the comfort seat package, but also a fragrance function. You can check out 3 different scents here and adjust them. Do you want it mild? Do you want it strong? How about starry sky, radiant sunshine or paradise? Those scents then come out through the ventilation nozzles. So that's actually something we only know from the upper class. Overall, NIO has really done an amazing job here. Yeah, of course, there's also a really cool navigation system, but one thing that's missing, some might miss it, though personally I don't. That's the implementation of Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. It isn't available here and wasn't included in the overall design plan. Overall, it's worth mentioning, you do need to give the system a little bit of time to get accustomed to it before you can really feel at ease here. But once you've done that, you'll start using features like this one here, the dash cam that's running in the background. We've got a guard mode and we also have a pet mode, meaning you can safely leave your dog in here while the air conditioning continues to run without any issues. Yeah, you can do so many things here. It would simply take us way too far beyond the intended scope of this video. The whole world keeps talking about artificial intelligence, right? We've got that here. to some extent on board. We've got something like a voice assistant here, kind of like an Alexa, like a Hey Google. We've got Hey Nomi here, this little Nomi mate up above. It's an additional 600 euros. Then he also looks at you. Yeah, he even interacts with you just a little bit as well. Most of the time he just annoys me. I'd honestly do without, even if he does look nice.
Ich habe immer noch nicht verstanden.
You've still got the language resistant one on board then. It's just a flat thing here with some little lighting kind of built into it. It's not as raised, works just the same, and you save 600 euros. The seats with integrated headrests look really great. You can easily adjust them perfectly to your liking thanks to electric adjustment. The seat cushion extends. Yeah, and anyone who opts for the extra 1,500 euro package, they then get a massage function here that comes with a variety of different programs to choose from. And it can even be activated and deactivated via voice control through our No Meme Mate. Charging, now that's a whole unique special chapter when it comes to NIO. Yeah, it starts right with the price. The ET5 starts at 47,500 euros, but the battery isn't included in that price at all. You have to pay extra for it. If you want to buy the battery, you'll pay an extra 12,000 euros for the smaller battery. For the 100, it's an additional 21,000 euros. It gets a bit easier if you say, hey, I'll take it with the subscription. Then you pay 169 euros for the 75 and 289 euros for the larger model each month. And that comes with a really big advantage. If you go for that option and rent the battery, you can actually get a second option when it comes to charging. Actually, a third one, CCS port on the large battery, up to 125 kilowatts. The smaller battery is a bit faster. It can actually go up to 140 kilowatts. Yeah, my 125 on our 100 kilowatt battery, it really lasts a long time too. And really down to 80%, we're still at 90% now. I was at 92% this morning when I charged. So this one's really pushing a solid amount of power. Of course, 11 kilowatts with standard Type 2 charging. There's not much change there. Yeah, but the third option, that's the really interesting one. You can actually head over to one of the power swapping stations here. If you've rented the battery, you can have it swapped out easily. How does that actually work? You just enter your swapping station, drive there. Once you arrive, the vehicle automatically drives backwards into the swapping station together with you, gets slightly lifted. The battery in the underbody is swapped, it gets unscrewed, slides out, and a new battery slides in. The entire process takes about 5 to 6 minutes, and then you're all set and ready to hit the road again with a fresh battery. That's about as fast as filling up the conventional way. And it's still futuristic for us because right now there are only 3, supposedly 7 by the end of the year. In China, on the other hand, there's actually a real rush for these power swapping stations. It's really taking off there. Yeah, and I think this could really turn into something big if more of these Nios start popping up around here as well. One option is simply to say, hey, charging takes way too long for me personally. Long distance, swap the battery out, put a new one in, and off you go. That's a cool feature NIO offers here. What's really interesting is how the vehicle weight varies depending on the different battery options available. The 75 kilowatt hour battery brings the vehicle to a weight of 2,140 kilograms. The larger 100 kilowatt hour pack adds just 20 kilograms more, resulting in a total of 2,160 kilograms. And I find that quite impressive, considering it has almost 25% more capacity. When you're driving in city traffic, that's really where electric cars shine. You can easily get this beast moving around here on just about 16 kilowatt hours. If you really pay attention and drive efficiently, you can even use a bit less. Yeah, my average consumption so far this month is currently sitting at 19.8 kilowatt hours. Have to say though, I've done a hell of a lot of highway driving. So if you really take it easy out there and drive smoothly, you might even get down to a 14, provided the air conditioning plays along. If you need the heater, it'll be a bit worse, but we do have a heat pump on board here. It helps us regain a bit more range once again. The recuperation here adjusts slightly depending on the driving modes that you've actually selected and set manually. We've got Comfort, Eco, Sport, Sport Plus, and User Defined. With User Defined, you can fully customize your NIO exactly the way you like it. I've gone for maximum acceleration and kept regeneration quite low because I really enjoy coasting and driving with foresight. You can really customize this here exactly as you want. Yeah, unfortunately we have no control over the suspension, but to be fair, in terms of its basic setup, it's already very much geared towards comfort. So it's sporty, yeah, but when it comes to the suspension, it could perhaps be just a touch firmer in some respects. 0 to 100 in 4 seconds. Yeah, in city traffic, that's really exhausting. Luckily, you can tone down the power a bit here using the driving profiles. We've got a total system power of 360 kilowatts on board, 150 kilowatts delivered by the front motor and 210 kilowatts by the rear motor. It delivers those 360 kilowatts, which amounts to a solid 490 horsepower, and you can truly feel that powerful performance right here without a doubt. We've got 700 Newton meters of torque. The top speed here in the Nio model reaches 200 kilometers per hour. With the large 100 kilowatt hour battery, you're supposed to manage 590 kilometers on the 19-inch wheels. I'm sure of that. You might actually reach that in ideal conditions. I have to tell you though, my average here was around 400 kilometers, but those are still really solid 400 kilometers. Ones you've actually driven properly without having to tailgate trucks or anything like that. A huge advantage of our massive camera armada all around the vehicle. This is the autopilot function. You're not allowed to call it that, but the display clearly shows it right there as soon as I activate it. Pilot, yeah, what does it do? It keeps me in the lane, scans the vehicles on the right, scans the vehicles on the left, and if I just go ahead and press this little button right here on the display, I've got a lane change assistant. So I keep my steering wheel firmly, activate the turn signal once, it scans to the left, it scans to the right. Yes, and you can see it on the display. He's changing lanes fully autonomously on his own. And he does that both to the right and to the left. One little thing you do have to get used to though when you've activated the assistant is that you'll need to manually adjust the speed limit changes yourself by using the controls on your steering wheel as needed depending on the road signs. He doesn't do that fully on his own. He uses the camera to read traffic signs. He reads them from the navigation map, but he doesn't actually get around to driving to them on his own just yet. Meaning he doesn't navigate to them automatically. You'll still have to confirm that here with just a button press. Another point, of course, especially regarding driver assistance systems, we already have a fairly advanced system here. That's just the reality of it. So, of course, every now and then, some kind of warning message will pop up, gently alerting you and letting you know that you've drifted too far over the line. Put your hands back on the wheel. If I spend too much time messing with the display, Nomi will actually chime in and remind me to stay focused and keep driving safely. It's actually pretty quick. You really, really value safety. Fundamentally, I'd describe it as a genuinely relaxed highway and country road cruiser. The suspension itself is clearly tuned for comfort above all else, delivering a smooth and composed ride. In my driving profile selection, unfortunately, I have no influence over the dampers. Nothing changes there. I can only slightly adjust the steering, and of course the throttle response and recuperation, those are really the only options available to me. Where I can say I've got some control, but you can clearly tell he really smooths out those little road bumps and highway jolts very effectively, very comfortably indeed, and that's even with our 20-inch wheels that come fitted with 245 tires. Yeah, the electric car's acceleration is really awesome, but when it comes to that raw emotion, even with all its power and punch, it still doesn't quite match up to our Audi R8 video. You've absolutely got to check this out. If you want to hear that last bit of driving passion from a V10 one more time, then this right here should definitely be the video that you simply can't afford to miss, no matter what. I've got to say, I love both. I really enjoy driving electric, but an R8 with a V10 has something special. The ET5 absolutely proves without a doubt that electric cars are more than capable for long distance driving. To make you feel even more comfortable up here, you can turn on the massage function. Easy, you don't have to tap around here, just tell Nomi what you'd like. Hey Nomi, please activate the massage function for the driver's seat.
Kein Problem.
Cool feature, right? Anyone who really loves great sound will absolutely be thrilled here. Nio partners with Dolby Atmos. What does that mean? We've placed high-quality speakers in all key positions for immersive sound throughout the cabin. Subwoofer in the trunk, center speaker up front. This setup delivers an excellent and immersive soundstage. A really nice, rich sound. Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about earlier. These constant warning sounds. I'm simply moving a bit further left along the rescue lane I've created here. Yeah, and it immediately recognizes that I'm too far into the left lane. Yeah, and warns me, gets really annoying over time. All around here, it's really, really good. You can actually see a lot in the mirrors. They're positioned perfectly, seriously awesome. You've got a really wide view over to the right and over to the left. Yeah, of course, especially when I look through the windows, the view over the hood is awesome. You can see quite a lot from the rear side windows too. Where you don't see much is just through the rear windshield. It's just a narrow slit, barely enough to make out if a truck is right behind you in the rear. Yeah, or maybe the blue lights just came on because you're actually being pulled over by the cops. That's it though, not too crazy. I've got more than enough cameras already on board here to cover everything. And then we can just easily pull up everything on our camera system in the car, or even take a quick look at what's going on behind us. With the ET5, NIO is doing everything right. Of course, they didn't reinvent the electric car, but they've really engineered it brilliantly and combined everything in such a clever way. Especially the ability to swap the battery at the bottom of the car at one of those power swap stations. Nobody else offers that right now, and in China, this particular way of charging the battery is proving to be hugely popular. I'm curious to see if all the additional stations that were announced will actually show up here. The NIO, especially the ET5, was an absolute blast to drive. It's a truly great car, though you do have to get used to its advanced driver assistance system. The established players in Europe should definitely be very wary indeed of this rising ambitious brand. Thanks for watching. I'd be happy if you subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell, of course, and tune in again for the next episode. Thanks, bye, and ciao.